I know a joke that's older than dirt. Are you ready for it? Everybody plays the fool, but the wise man plays the best. Ah, how the mighty have fallen. See what happens when you trust strangers bearing gifts. But don't take my word for it. Let me show you. In a kingdom not so far away, there lived a king who was loved by his people. He ruled with a gentle hand, always striving to do what was right. His counselors, however, were not so wise. They were a greedy bunch who cared more about their own interests than the good of the realm. And they had a particularly devious plan in the works. One day, the king received an invitation from a neighboring kingdom to participate in a competition of musical talent. A grand prize was offered, a magical lute said to be able to play itself. All the king needed to do was send a representative to compete. Now, this was an opportunity for the counselors to get rid of the king, and they took full advantage of it. They chose a handsome young man to represent the kingdom. Confident that he would win the prize and then use its magic to usurp the throne. They loaded him up with gold, enough to make any young man's head spin, and sent him on his way. On his journey, the young man came across a river so wide and swift that he could impossibly hope to make it to the other side. As he watched his golden opportunity float farther and farther away, he began to weep. Suddenly, he heard the sound of drums and trumpets and saw an army approaching. At their head rode a magnificent warrior clad in shining armor, his face obscured by a horned helmet. Behind him came men of all shapes and sizes, each more grotesque and fearsome than the last. The young man knew he had stumbled upon a band of entertainers, and desperate for help, he offered them what little gold he had left. In exchange, they carried him across the river on their backs. The king watched in disbelief as the other counselors emerged from the ranks of entertainers, each more ashamed and contrite than the last. The jig was up. Her disguises were no match for the keen eyes of the king. And so the tale of Everybody Plays the Fool reminds us that no matter how clever we think we are, we should always be wary of those we trust. Even the most cunning plans can backfire, leaving us looking like a pack of fools. So be careful out there, my friends. You never know who you can trust. Once upon a time, deep in a dark and dank dungeon, there lived a terrible monster. Its scales were as hard as iron, its claws as sharp as knives, and its breath could poison the air. And every night it would feast on the screams of its victims. But you, my friend, are not a victim. You are the hero of your own story. And like all good heroes, you possess courage, wit, and a strong sense of justice. You've faced down fearsome beasts and vanquished many a villain. But now a new adventure awaits you, one that will test your skills and your resolve.